Alright, since the last video was relatively short, I'm going to do the tier list of Nightmare on Elm Street. Or my tier list, I should say. Remember, these are all opinions. Nothing that I say is factual unless I've done my research on it. Whatever. It's all opinion based. So let's get started. The original. I'm going to place the original in A. It was the birth of an icon. Not too much to say about it. I did like the fake out, making everybody believe that Tina would be the final girl and swapping it up to Nancy. I did like that. There were a few scenes in it that I'm still back and forth on. One in which Freddy's trying to be scary, but in reality, when you watch it back, he's just goofy. And I know later on in the series he does adopt a more comedic persona, but in the first few, at very least the first three, he was meant to be pure horror, and that wasn't it for me. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, A tier. Much like Child's Play 3, Nightmare 2 holds a special place, as it was the first Nightmare movie I'd seen. And oddly enough, up until watching what's it called? Never Sleep Again, the documentary, I did not catch on to the gay undertones of Nightmare 2. It really doesn't bother me, and I think that's why I didn't catch on, because it was never a big thing to me. But Nightmare 2 has some of, I don't want to say some of my favorite scenes. It's got one of my favorite scenes where they're all at the pool party and Freddy jumps out of the pool and flames behind him, "You're all my children now." Like, the vision of that was, or the visual, sorry, of that was just phenomenal. Nightmare 3, S tier. By far my favorite in the series. Much like Child's Play 2, there is no comparison for me. Bringing Nancy back, to me, that's what this sequel should have been. The first sequel, I should say, should have been. It doesn't take away from Nightmare 2, but I do feel that these three were the top of the quality for the original series. Nightmare 4, ever so slightly B tier. Dream Master, like I was hoping that since they had so many live during Dream Warriors, they would do more with them in Dream Master instead of just kind of kill them all off so quickly. The person who played Kincaid in both 3 and 4, during the Never Sleep Again documentary, he had to flat out tell his friends, he's like, look, if you're just going to see me in part 4, don't even buy popcorn, nothing, because I'm dead within 5 minutes. Dream Master, I'm going to put C tier. Out of all the times that I've seen it, I can tell you maybe one kill. And I can't even remember for sure if it was Dream Master or Dream Child. I've seen every Nightmare at least 10 times a piece. And for me to have seen it that many times and not be able to distinguish any of the kills from that movie says a lot. They did do something interesting with the whole child dreams affecting the mother. And that's why I'm not putting it D tier, because they were still, you could still see they had ideas at that point. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, D tier. Would be F tier if it, to be honest, I don't even think that deserves to be a Nightmare on Elm Street. He went from, even up to Dream Child, where he was still taking on more of comedic tone. You could still see that killer instinct was still there. He was still that killer. Freddy's Dead threw all that out the window. Although Freddy's Dead did have one of my favorite scenes, being the kid with the hearing aid. That scene sticks with me, and I don't know why. So I guess with it having one of my favorite kills, it being in D tier doesn't necessarily make sense, but especially when I can't distinguish maybe one kill out of Dream Child. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, it's going A tier because the man himself came back to rectify what these three had slowly turned into a joke. Wes Craven came back to make Freddy great again, I guess you could say. Freddy vs. Jason. The more I watch it, the more bothered I get with certain aspects but I do think it's a fun movie, and it's going high B tier. Either high B or low A. It's one that I still put on just to have a good time with a horror movie. If I'm wanting to watch Nightmare on Elm Street and I'm wanting something comedic but at the same time still have that tone to it, it's going to be Freddy vs. Jason. This is the one that's going to piss everybody off. Now, I have been a Nightmare remake defender since it came out. Went and saw it twice in theaters, and I loved it both times. Going back and watching it now, listening to some of the criticisms, I do see where a lot of people are coming from. I am going to put it just behind Freddy vs. Jason, so high B, low A, whatever you want to call it. I know one of the major criticisms is that he is a child predator, a PDF file, whatever you want to call it, trying not to say anything that will get this video stricken down on YouTube. And I know that threw a lot of people off. However, in the original, it was written that not only was he a child killer, but he was also that. And throughout the series, more so in Freddy vs. Jason, it was implied that not only did he kill children, but he did more. People were upset that that was brought to the forefront of the remake, but it was always supposed to be there. I can't remember exactly what was said, but they did have to tone it down with the original, because in the 80s it was more, I'm not saying that it's not a sensitive topic now, because it very much is, but it was too sensitive for the general public. It wasn't as widely spoken about as it is nowadays. So they decided to pull that factor from being the forefront. There may have even been a case of child abduction or something along those lines that caused them to take it out. It's been a minute since I've watched all the documentaries and everything that I get into and find interesting. But yes, it very much was supposed to be a part of the original. As far as the writing goes, I can't defend the writing. Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger, though, he's my pick. Like, I don't see anybody topping him after Robert Englund. And I'm not even a huge Robert Englund fan, but Jackie Earle Haley actually made Freddy scary. that's something that was very much needed after the 4, 5, and 6. Well, more so Freddy's Dead than any of the others. But just the visual of, I can't remember the character's name. I think it was essentially the Tina of the movie. Her name may have even been Tina. But her walking outside calling for her dog, and Freddy walks around with blood dripping from his claws, and I was just petting him. That, like, to me, it was the equivalent of the scene in the original, his arms outstretched, just kind of walking down the alleyway. It was funny in the sense that you were creeped out. Not saying that it's quite as iconic of a visual, but that's the only thing in my mind right now that I can compare it to. Anyways, that is the tier list of Freddy, tier list on Elm Street, whatever I'm going to name this. I will catch you all in the next one. Be sure to check out my last video, which was a Leprechaun tier list. And I hope you all have a great day.